Imagine this, a kid, barely old enough to grow a beard, staring up at a 9-foot-tall war machine decked out in bronze armor, swinging a spear that weighs more than the boy himself. The odds? Laughable. The stakes? Life or death. This isn't a Hollywood blockbuster. This is real. This is David versus Goliath, the ultimate underdog story that's been told for thousands of years. And today, we're not just retelling it. We're diving deep into the dirt, the sweat, the fear, and the faith that turned a shepherd into a legend. Buckle up, because this isn't your Sunday. It's around 1000 BC, and the Israelites are locked in a brutal standoff with their arch enemies, the Philistines. They're camped out in the Valley of Elah, a dusty, rocky stretch of land where two hills glare at each other like boxers in a ring. The Israelites are on one side, led by King Saul, a guy who's supposed to be God's chosen leader, but lately looks more like a guy who's lost his nerve. On the other side, the Philistines, ruthless, battle-hardened, and itching for a fight, and they've brought their secret weapon. Isn't just big. He's a freak of nature. The Bible says he's 6 cubits and a span, roughly 9 feet tall. Picture Shaquille O'Neal, but add a foot, slap on 300 pounds of muscle, and give him a bad attitude. His armor alone weighs 125 pounds. Bronze helmet, chest plate, greaves on his legs, the works. His spear, the tip is 15 pounds of solid iron. This guy's not a soldier, he's a walking tank. And for 40 days straight, he struts out into that valley, plants his feet, and roars a challenge. For 40 days, Goliath taunts the Israelites. You got anyone brave enough to face me? Or are you all just cowards hiding behind your tents? The Israelite army, thousands of guys with swords and shields, just freezes. Even Saul, the king who's supposed to lead them, is shaking in his royal sandals. Why? Because Goliath isn't just a threat, he's a psychological weapon. He's breaking their spirit before a single arrow flies. And honestly, who'd blame them? You'd need a death wish to take on that monster. He's not even old enough to join the army. He's the youngest of 8 brothers, stuck back home in Bethlehem watching sheep while his older siblings are off at the war camp. David's maybe 15 or 16, scrappy, suntanned, with a mop of messy hair and hands more used to a shepherd's staff than a sword. His dad, Jesse, sends him to the front lines with a care package, some bread, cheese, and roasted grain. Check on your brothers, Jesse says. See how they're holding up. So David hikes over to the Valley of Elah, probably thinking he's just there to play delivery boy. But fate gets to the camp. Got other plans. He hears it, the rumble of Goliath's voice rolling across the valley like thunder. He sees the Israelite soldiers, grown men, trained warriors, flinching every time the giant opens his mouth. David's eyebrows shoot up. Who is this guy? He asks his brothers. And why's nobody doing anything about him? His oldest brother, Eliab, snaps back. Mind your own business, kid. Go back to your sheep. But David's not the type to shrug and walk away. He's curious. He's ticked off. And deep down, he's got something burning in him that nobody else in that camp has. There's some shepherd kid asking about Goliath. Eventually, it reaches King Saul. Saul's desperate at this point. 40 days of humiliation have worn him thin, so he calls David in. Picture this. Saul's in his tent, decked out in royal gear, probably 6 feet tall himself, but looking hollowed out. Then in walks David. Short, scruffy, no armor, no weapons, just a sling dangling from his belt. Saul's like, You're gonna fight Goliath? David doesn't blink. Your servants killed lions and bears protecting my sheep, he says. This uncircumcised Philistine, he's no different. He's defying the living God, and God's gonna deliver him into my hands. This kid's either insane or inspired. But what's he got to lose? The army's paralyzed, morale's in the dirt, and Goliath's still out there bellowing. So Saul says, fine, take my armor. He straps his own bronze helmet on David, hands him his sword, drapes a chainmail tunic over his shoulders. David tries to move and nearly topples over. "I can't fight in this," he says, peeling it off. "I'll stick with what I know." And what does he know? A sling, a staff, and 5 smooth stones he picks up from a nearby stream. That's it. Gets wild. That's his arsenal. David walks out into that valley, alone. No backup, no shield bearer, just him and his faith. Across from him, Goliath sees this puny figure approaching and starts cracking up. "Am I a dog that you come at me with sticks?" he roars. The Philistine army behind him howls with laughter. Goliath's got murder in his eyes. He's insulted that this is the best Israel can send. He curses David by his gods, promising to feed his corpse to the birds. But David, he doesn't flinch. He fires back with words that hit harder than any David's spear. Not trash talking to look cool. He believes it. He spent years alone with his sheep, talking to God, trusting God to save him from lions and bears. To him, Goliath's not the real giant. God is. And that's what fuels him as he breaks into a run, straight toward the beast. Everyone else starts spinning, round and round, faster, a blur of motion. Goliath lumbers forward, probably thinking he'll squash this kid in one swing. But David's not aiming wild. He's a shepherd, slinging his art. He's dropped wolves at 50 yards to protect his flock. This shot, it's personal. He lets the stone fly, straight, true, a missile cutting through the air. And then, crack, it slams into Goliath's forehead, right where his helmet doesn't cover. The giant freezes. His eyes roll back, and 9 feet of muscle and bronze come crashing down like a felled tree. The Israelites blink like they can't believe it. The Philistines, their jaws drop, then they turn and run. David doesn't hesitate. He sprints to Goliath's body, grabs the giant's own sword, probably as tall as he is, and with one swing, he cuts off Goliath's head. Boom, done. The shepherd boy's holding the head of a titan, and the Israelite army erupts. They charge after the fleeing Philistines, turning a standoff into a rout. One stone, one swing, one kid, with this story? And the whole war flips. Why is it stuck around for 3,000 years? It's not just about a lucky shot. It's about a kid who saw what nobody else did, that giants, whether they're 9 feet tall or just problems in your life, aren't unbeatable. David didn't win because he was bigger or stronger. He won because he trusted something bigger than himself. He didn't need Saul's armor or a fancy sword. He had faith, a sling, and a stone. We've all got Goliaths, those things that loom over us, mocking us, daring us to try. Maybe it's a fear, a doubt, a bully, a dream that feels too big. David's story says you don't need to match the giant's size. You don't need the world's weapons. You need what's already in you: courage, belief, and maybe a little creativity with a sling. That's why this isn't just a Bible tale. It's a blueprint. A kid from nowhere took down a legend, and people still talk about it Goliath today. And what's your stone? David didn't wait for permission or perfect odds. He stepped up. Maybe it's time you did too. Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear about the giants you're facing. And if this story fired you up, smash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell. We've got more epic tales like this coming your way. Next time, we're diving into Moses and the Red Sea. You won't want to miss it. Until then, keep slinging those stones.